Hello everyone, welcome again to online session of monologue classes. My name is Dinesh Kumar. I'm former assistant professor of law at Campus Law Center, Law Faculty, Delhi University, and presently I'm working as an academic head of monologue classes. There is an important announcement for all of you. We at monologue classes are providing 1 year and 2 years courses for CLAT 2022 and 2023, and admissions are open in our coaching institute. All of you can get yourself enrolled with us. For more information, you can dial the number given on the screen, and you may also visit our website, that is www.lawentranceindia.com. Dear candidates, we are also providing 15 days free trial to all the students. And in this free trial, you will get the following benefits. Number one, you will get the live classes with one-to-one interaction. Second, you will also get the recorded conceptual lectures on various topics. Third, you will get topic test. Fourth, you will get various sectional tests. And fifth, we will also provide you the analysis of your performance, and this analysis will be done by our team of experts. For getting this 15 days free trial, first of all, you need to find out the link in the description below, then locate the sign up for 15 days free trial, then fill the form and you are set, or you will be eligible to get this benefit of 15 days free trial classes. So you may also avail this benefit. Today I will discuss with you the landmark judgment of Honorable Supreme Court in the case of Patanjali Wali versus State of Andhra Pradesh 2021. This judgment was delivered by Honorable Supreme Court on 27th April 2021. In this case, I will discuss with you following constitutional and legal provisions. And the first one is Article 136 of Constitution of India. So basically, Article 136 of Constitution of India provides for a special leave petition. What is a special leave petition? So a special leave petition is a petition which lies before Honorable Supreme Court directly from the decision of any court of India or any tribunal in India. But the special leave petition does not lie against the decision of आर्म्ड फोर्सेस ट्राइब्यूनल. मींस स्पेशल लीव पिटीशन में हम भारत के किसी भी कोर्ट के डिसीजन के अगेंस्ट डायरेक्टली सुप्रीम कोर्ट में जा सकते हैं, लेकिन हम आर्म्ड फोर्सेस ट्राइब्यूनल के डिसीजन के खिलाफ स्पेशल लीव पिटीशन में नहीं जा सकते. ऐसे प्रोविजन आर्टिकल 136 ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया में दिए गए हैं. नाउ वी कम टू सेकंड पॉइंट, एंड दिस इज Section 376, Clause 1 of Indian Penal Code 1860. This section provides for the punishment of offense of rape, and it provides minimum punishment of 7 years, which may extend up to 10 years, and it may also extend up to life imprisonment. Now we come to Section 3, Clause 2 of Scheduled Castes and Scheduled Tribes Prevention of Atrocities Act 1989. So basically this section 3 of this act provides that if any person commits any offense under IPC or again any offense against any person who belongs to the SC or ST or against the property of such person who belongs to the SC or ST community, merely on the ground that such person belongs to SC or ST community. Means अगर कोई व्यक्ति कोई अपराध SC या ST कम्युनिटी के लोगों के खिलाफ केवल इस आधार पर करता है कि वो लोग SC या ST कम्युनिटी को बिलोंग करते हैं, तब सेक्शन 3 क्लॉज 2 SC ST प्रिवेंशन ऑफ एट्रोसिटीज एक्ट एप्लीकेबल होता है. अगर कोई ऑफेंस इस आधार पर नहीं होता, मीन्स द ऑफेंस हैज बीन कमिटेड इन अ जनरल मैनर and without any intentions to commit the offense against SC or ST, then this provision will not be applicable. Now we come to the facts of this case. What happened in this case? In this case, the appellant, who is the main accused in this case, was residing at Gazulapalli village. It is one of the villages in Andhra Pradesh. And he used to do the work of coolie. Means he was doing some manual kind of work. One day, he approached to the house of victim, and near the house of victim, the mother of victim was also doing some work. He asked the mother of the victim that where are the brothers of the victim. Then the mother of victim told appellant that they were cutting the woods for some household purpose and you should wait for a while. विक्टिम की मम्मी ने उसको बताया कि उसके बेटे क्या कर रहे हैं. विक्टिम की मम्मी ने उसको बताया कि उसके बेटे बाहर लकड़ियां काट रहे हैं और आप थोड़े समय के लिए इंतजार कीजिए. But what happened after around half an hour? The mother of the victim heard the voice of the victim. In this case, the victim is a blind girl of 19 years of age. When she heard the voice of victim, then she rushed towards the house, and after her, her two sons also reached the place. When they knocked the door, then appellant came from inside the house and appellant tried to escape from that place. But he was apprehended. Appellant ने वहां से भागने की कोशिश की, लेकिन उसको वहीं पर लोगों ने पकड़ लिया. When the mother of victim went inside the house, she found that जब victim की mother घर के अंदर गई, then उसने देखा that the victim was lying on the ground in a nude position and there was bleeding from her genitals. Then the case of rape was registered against the appellant person under section 376 clause 1 of IPC and under section 3 clause 2 of the SC/ST Prevention of Atrocities Act 1989. Section 376 was applicable because appellant has committed the rape in this case, and section 3 clause 2 of SC/ST Prevention of Atrocities Act was registered because it was thought that appellant has committed the rape of the victim merely on the ground that she belonged to the SC or ST community. Then case first of all went before the court of session, and court of session gave the decision against the appellant. Means court of session convicted the appellant under both the charges. Next, the accused went into the appeal against the decision of court of sessions to the High Court, and Honorable High Court also confirmed the decision of court of session. Then appellant approached to Honorable Supreme Court under Article 136 of Constitution of India. Now, the main legal issue in this case was whether the testimony of disabled person is a weak or inferior evidence in comparison to the other competent witness. क्या एक डिसेबल पर्सन की विटनेस या एक डिसेबल पर्सन की एविडेंस अदर कॉम्पिटेंट विटनेस के एविडेंस से कुछ वीक होती है या वो इंफीरियर कैटेगरी की होती है. So this was the main issue in this case. In this case, why this issue was framed or why this issue was before Honorable Supreme Court? Because it was viewed by the Honorable Session Court in its observations that the identification of the accused on the basis of his voice is a weak evidence. As I told all of you that in this case, the victim was a girl and who was blind since birth. And she was of 19 years of age. So she could not see the appellant or she could not see the accused. So she recognized the accused with his voice. उसने accused को उसकी आवाज से पहचाना. It was the view of court of session that identification of the accused merely on the basis of voice is a weak kind of evidence. But Honorable Supreme Court did not accept this view of court of session. And Honorable Supreme Court held that evidence of victim cannot be doubted merely on the ground that she was blind. कोर्ट ने कहा कि आप किसी विक्टिम के एविडेंस को केवल इस आधार पर डाउट नहीं कर सकते कि वो पर्सन डिसेबल है या ब्लाइंड. ठीक है, बिकॉज अगर हम इस तरह की प्रिजम्पशन करेंगे देन इट विल रिजल्ट इनटू द मिसकैरेज ऑफ जस्टिस. अगर कोर्ट इस तरह की प्रिजम्पशन करेगा कि किसी डिसेबल पर्सन की या किसी ब्लाइंड पर्सन की जो एविडेंस है वो एक वीक या इंफीरियर क्वालिटी की होती है, देन it will lead to the miscarriage of justice. This will not be allowed under the law. Honorable Supreme Court further observed that the legal personhood of person with disabilities cannot be determined on the basis of stereotype of their supposed inferiority. It means Honorable Supreme Court ने कहा कि legal personhood here means कि कोई पर्सन लीगली कितना कॉम्पिटेंट है, कोई पर्सन लीगली कितना कॉम्पिटेंट है, दिस वी कैन नॉट डिसाइड ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ द व्यू प्रोवाइडेड बाय द सोसाइटी, कि सोसाइटी डिसेबल पर्सन के बारे में क्या सोचती है. अगर सोसाइटी डिसेबल पर्सन को इंफीरियर मानती है तो वी बीइंग कोर्ट कैन नॉट कंसीडर सच डिसेबल पर्सन एज इंफीरियर. सोसाइटी अगर किसी डिसेबल पर्सन को इंफीरियर मानती है तो हम उसको इंफीरियर नहीं मान सकते. क्यों? क्योंकि दिस वुड अमाउंट टू द वायलेशन ऑफ राइट टू इक्वालिटी एज प्रोवाइडेड अंडर आर्टिकल 14 ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया. तो ऑनरेबल सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा कि अगर किसी डिसेबल पर्सन को सोसाइटी इंफीरियर मानती है तो हम उसको इंफीरियर नहीं मानेंगे. प्लीज कीप दिस फैक्ट इन माइंड. नेक्स्ट, Honorable Court further held that the testimony of a victim with a disability or disabled witness cannot be considered a weak or inferior. Means किसी भी विटनेस की या किसी भी विक्टिम की जो एविडेंस है, अगर वो विक्टिम डिसेबल है तो केवल उसकी डिसेबिलिटी के आधार पर हम उसकी एविडेंस को वीक या इंफीरियर नहीं मानेंगे इन द कंपैरिजन ऑफ अदर कॉम्पिटेंट विटनेसेस. अदर जो कॉम्पिटेंट विटनेस होते हैं उसकी एविडेंस को भी कानून में उतनी ही वैल्यू दी जाएगी एज इट इज गिवन टू द एविडेंस ऑफ द डिसेबल्ड पर्सन. Honorable Court further observed that if the testimony of such witness meet the legal criteria to inspire judicial confidence, means if the testimony of disabled person or disabled witness is otherwise as per the legal requirement, then such testimony has equal weight as that of other competent. So अगर किसी विक्टिम की टेस्टिमनी मतलब एविडेंस, अगर किसी विटनेस की एविडेंस या किसी डिसेबल्ड पर्सन की एविडेंस लीगल क्राइटेरिया को फुलफिल करती है, then we would give such importance to this evidence as we give the importance to the evidence of a competent person. Here I am referring section 118 of Indian Evidence Act because this is the relevant section here. And section 118 provides that who may testify, means who may give the evidence. As per this section, all persons shall be competent to testify unless court consider that they are prevented from understanding the question put to them. Means every person is competent to give the evidence unless court considers that such person cannot understand the question put to him. अगर कोर्ट को ये लगता है कि हम अगर उससे कोई क्वेश्चन पूछेंगे then that person will not understand the question and that person will also not be able to give the rational answer to such questions, then we may consider that such person is incompetent to testify or such person cannot give the evidence. But if the court consider that such person can understand the question put to him or her and he or she can also give the rational answers to such questions, then such person is a competent person and such person can also be testified. So if we relate this law with the present situation, in the present case, victim was blind, but she was otherwise competent to understand the nature of the questions put to her, and she was also competent to give the rational answers to all the questions asked by the court from her or by any other person. So, by virtue of Section 118 of Indian Evidence Act, she is a competent witness, and her testimony cannot be considered weak or inferior to other witnesses. In this case, Honorable Supreme Court upheld the conviction of the appellant under Section 376 Clause 1 of the IPC, but Honorable Supreme Court set aside the conviction of the appellant under Section 3 Clause 2 of SC/ST Prevention of Atrocities Act 1989. Why Honorable Supreme Court set aside this conviction under this Section 3 of SC/ST Act? As per the Honorable Supreme Court, there was no evidence in the case which could show that offense of rape was committed against the victim merely on the ground that she belonged to the SC category. Means Honorable Supreme Court को इस केस में ऐसी कोई एविडेंस नहीं मिली जिससे ऑनरेबल सुप्रीम कोर्ट इस कंक्लूजन पर आते कि विक्टिम के अगेंस्ट जो रेप हुआ है वो केवल इसी आधार पर हुआ है कि वो एससी कैटेगरी को बिलोंग करती है. सो इट वाज नॉट द रीजन ऑफ द ऑफेंस कमिटेड अगेंस्ट हर. इस आधार पर ऑनरेबल सुप्रीम कोर्ट set aside the conviction of the accused person under Section 3 Clause 2 of SC/ST Act. Honorable Supreme Court also issued following guidelines in this case to make our criminal justice system more disabled friendly. And the first guideline is the National Judicial Academy and the state judicial academies should provide training to the judicial officers so that they deal with the disabled person with more friendly manner. And they must also be acquainted with the special provisions of law regarding such disabled persons. So, Honorable Supreme Court gave the guideline that the National Judicial Academies and state judicial academies should provide the training to the judicial officers so they are aware about the special legal provisions regarding the disabled persons. And they should apply these provisions while they decide the case regarding any disabled person. Second guideline is equal legal weight should be given to the testimony of such disabled witness or victim of the offense as per the testimony of other competent witness. Means while the court decide any decision, then court has to give the equal importance to the testimony of disabled person as well as in the comparison as that of a competent witness. So जितनी importance कोर्ट एक competent witness के evidence को देता है उतनी ही importance कोर्ट को एक disabled person के evidence को देनी चाहिए. Next, Bar Council of India should introduce such courses in the LLB program which will cover these topics. So बार काउंसिल ऑफ इंडिया को ऐसे गाइडलाइंस ऐसे प्रोग्राम बनाने चाहिए अपने एलएलबी कोर्स में ताकि जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं हमारे जो लॉ स्टूडेंट्स हैं दे आर अवेयर अबाउट सच काइंड ऑफ प्रोविजंस एंड सच काइंड ऑफ सोशल प्रॉब्लम्स इन आवर सोसाइटी एंड दे मस्ट आल्सो बी एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड द लीगल प्रोविजंस रिगार्डिंग द डिसेबल्ड पर्सन्स इन द लॉ. नेक्स्ट, ट्रेन्ड स्पेशल एजुकेटर and interpreters must be appointed to ensure the effective implementations of safeguard provided for such persons in the Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013. So basically, in our Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013, there are certain safeguards which have been provided to such disabled persons. For example, the FIR in such matters will be registered at the residence of such disabled persons. And the witnesses and evidence will also be taken at the place of such disabled persons. Now, the special educator and the interpreters must be aware about such legal provisions, and they must implement these legal provisions in a proper manner. Next, all police stations should maintain a database of such educators, interpreters, and free legal aid providers, so this data can be used in case of need. Means अगर पुलिस के पास ये डेटा होगा तो हम जरूरत के टाइम पर इस डेटा को यूज कर पाएंगे ताकि जो डिसेबल्ड विक्टिम है they can get the proper justice. As per the sixth recommendation, National Crime Record Bureau should also maintain a data on the basis of gender-based violence. And in this data, disability must be one of the variables so that we can understand how many offenses are committed against the person with disabilities. And we are able to take appropriate measures against such offenses. Next, police officers should be provided adequate training on a regular basis to deal with the cases of sexual violence against women with disabilities in an appropriate way. Means पुलिस को भी हमें ट्रेनिंग देने की आवश्यकता है ताकि पुलिस ऐसे केसों को एक प्रॉपर वे में हैंडल कर पाए एंड evidence का destruction ना हो and the victim in such case must be able to get the justice. Next, awareness raising campaign must be conducted to inform the women and the girls with disabilities about their rights. So, as per this guideline, various awareness programs must be conducted so that the girl or the woman with disabilities become aware about their rights and they can take the appropriate action in case of need. So, dear students, that's all for today. Thank you very much for watching us. I will come again with the next video. Thank you very much. Goodbye.